Hey guys, my name is Rachel Delk once again, and we're talking about the science of reading. Real quick, you can find me on YouTube and Facebook at Rachel's Book Nook, or also rachelsbooknook.com, which will take you to my e-commerce site directly through PaperPie. And we're talking about the science of reading, and there are 5 main pillars for like building blocks on learning how to read. There's phonics, phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. And all of those together make a confident, really competent, very good reader. And today, in video 1, we talked about phonics and phonemic awareness, and then we talked about the other 3 in video 2. And today we're going to talk about the secret sauce. And the secret sauce, in my opinion anyway, is that all reading counts. Whether you are reading an audiobook or listening to an audiobook, whether you are reading a baby book and you've got a 3rd grader, whether you're reading something that is just wildly off topic of like, why in the world, like, for instance, my son, he's reading, or he has in his possession a owner's manual to a Boeing 747. I can't even read all these words, and yet he loves it. And so, like, all these things are really great, whether you have a really confident reader that reads everything, or whether you have a kid who, like, really all they want to read is the back of the cereal box. All reading counts, whether reading above level, below level, whatever that even means. All reading counts. So whether they're reading a physical book, whether they're even reading on a screen necessarily, reading through an audiobook, being read to by somebody else, reading anything. All reading counts. So today I wanted to talk to you. If you just read to your kiddos, read when they're babies, read as soon as they are born, read as they're growing up, read every day after school, listen to an audiobook in the car, read outside on a sunny day, read inside on a rainy day, read to your teenagers. Find a series that you either are wanting to talk about, find something that they're reading in school, find a book that you loved as a kid and you're like, you know what, I wonder if this is still good. Let's read it together. Read out loud. I promise you, if you're in the room and you're reading out loud and your teenager is there, they're listening, right? They're listening. I promise. I remember one time we were on a train and I was reading to my kid and he's like bouncing off the walls. He's like in and out of a seat, walking across the aisle, everything. And I stopped and I said, "You're not even listening." And he goes, "Yes, I am." And he gave me the entire plot of all the characters that I had just read. And I was like, you are listening. So whether they're being still, whether they're doing something with their hands, whether they're doing something else while you're reading, all reading counts. Find something that they're interested in. I always say that kids who don't love to read, and this is probably true for adults too, if you don't like to read, you probably are not reading the right thing. So I love historical fiction. Not everybody does. We've got some really great survival handbooks. So these are the Bear Grylls Outdoor Skills Handbooks. If you have an outdoorsy kid, these are great. There's all sorts of really interesting facts. And especially if you're like not an outdoorsy parent, not an outdoorsy caregiver, these are really fun. These like kind of scratch that itch for adventure and going and finding new things without actually having to do it. Find books that are kind of silly and kind of fun. Unicorns don't love rainbows. Honestly, I think I would have really liked this book as a kid. It's all about this unicorn who doesn't love rainbows and doesn't love sparkles and doesn't love the color pink, but maybe his friends do. And so can they still be friends if they don't love the same things? Spoiler alert, yes they can. Fun fact. Find a mystery novel. As a kid, I think I read some Nancy Drew books and didn't really like them, but there are other mystery novels that I did really like. And so Einstein the Penguin is a really fun chapter book where Imogen, the main character, is an aspiring detective and she finds Einstein and she has to figure out what he's looking for and where he's from. And he's a penguin. He can't speak. So it's like super, super fun. But yeah, this one actually just is one of our newer titles and just won like 3 awards. It's a really great book. Find Lift the Flap books for older kids. Honestly, I get told by parents a lot, like, oh, we don't do lift the flap books. They get torn up. Make it a mom and me book where you only read this book when mom is right there. You only read this book when you're sitting in dad's lap. We only read this book together, okay? And then you can kind of teach them, oh, we got to be gentle when we're opening the flaps. But then also get lift the flap books for teenagers, for kids who don't love to read, because these are really great to like read a page or two. There's lots of really interesting facts. Like this one is strongest, cleverest, deadliest, fiercest, hottest, loudest, smelliest, and weirdest. Tell me what teenager does not want to know about the smelliest things in the world. This one you can read 1 or 2 pages and then you can be done. There's no commitment to an entire narrative. They can find the ones that are interesting to them. All the things are like, the flaps are really engaging. It holds their attention. If you have a kid who's kind of like their attention is bing, 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 lift the flaps are really great because they're all a little bit different. They're all new topics. And I'm like, get a lift the flap book for an older kid. Even though lift the flap books are like a little kid thing, these are books designed for older kids and they've got lift the flaps. So we love the lift the flaps in my house. Read a book that they read when they were little. Just read it again. All reading counts, right? Whether it's, you have a little baby and you're just reading to them and like they can't even speak yet, like, but you're reading to them. That is so good. That's so good. It helps with them learning how to speak and helps them recognizing language, all the things. And then these nibble books are really cool because there's holes in the pages. And where in the world did Nibbles go? You've got to find it. There's books within books. These are really great. And it's okay to read a book to like a kid because they used to love it and now they're old. Tell you what, they're going to be like, oh, don't read that little baby book to me. And then you start reading it and they'll be like, keep going, Mom. Keep going, please. It's so fun. It's so good. And like I said, all reading counts. If you want to know the secret sauce to making your kid a competent, confident reader, just read. Read with them. Read to them. Read audiobooks. Just read. My son was a really struggling reader. Math came very easy to him, and so when reading did not, he didn't want to try. And so when we got the My First Reading Library, which is right up here, and it has that shared reading where I would read part and he would read like 3 words, that was not overwhelming to him, and he would actually try. And then we found these, the Bear Grylls Adventure series. This is a chapter book about a kid who kind of gets transported into like a survival scenario with Bear Grylls, and they've got to find their way out of it. He was hooked. I think we found these in our local library, and we read like 5 or 6 of them. And then we found a Paper Pie brand partner who said, hey, we sell these books. And it was like, we need all of them, please. Because my son went from not wanting to read. He enjoyed being read to. He enjoyed stories. We had always read to him. But he didn't really want to try to read for himself. He was like, I need to read this. And I'd be like, I'm cooking dinner. I can't read to you right now. And he's like, then I need to read it for myself. And so like, that is it. And honestly, it's okay if they grow up and they don't love reading, if reading is not their favorite hobby. But you do need to be able to read to be a successful adult, to have a job, to like drive on the highway. You have to be able to read. And so, I mean, and people who can't, they make it, they do. But if you want your kid to really be successful, to really be able to teach themselves new things in the world that's coming, you need to have a reader, to have a kid who can read and understand what they read. And so just read. Even when they complain, just keep reading. And eventually they'll find something that they like, or they'll find something that sticks, or they'll find a way to read that, that they like a lot. So whether it's they like audiobooks, maybe they like to read Kindle books. Maybe they just like little kid books. Maybe that's their thing. Maybe they're going to grow up and be a children's author. Who knows? But just read, because all reading counts. Okay. So thank you for joining me on our 3-part series. I hope this was encouraging. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to me. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I have taught my kids how to read, and I am fascinated by the research. One more thing. If you have a kid who does not start reading until they are older, that's fine. Research is coming out that is showing that if you have a reader who started reading at like 5 versus someone who started reading at like 13, by the time they're 15, both of them, within 2 years of like having that older kid start to read, there's not any difference in their ability to read between the kid who read early and the kid who read late. And so if you have a kid who's like 7, 8, 9, 10, going into high school, and they're still not great readers, that's okay. Don't stress it. Don't make reading a negative experience for them. If at all possible, just keep reading, keep working with them, keep encouraging them, keep finding really great stories that they're really engaged in. And it'll click. It'll come. It will. Okay. And then there's not going to be any difference between someone who learned to read late versus someone who learned to read early. It all counts. All readers count. All readers are valuable. All people are valuable, even if you don't enjoy reading, even if you're not a great, competent reader. It's okay. There are good things out there. So thank you so much for watching our videos, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.